Hey everybody, welcome to Black Lotus Live, where we talk about all things strange and unusual. And tonight we are going to be talking about haunted amusement parks. And we've got Ralph and Wild here with us, and Kimberly will be here, but she's said that she's going to be a few minutes late. But don't really have any announcements to make this week.
I did want to bring something up that you mentioned earlier that I've been thinking a lot about, and it kind of has to do with haunting. So you had mentioned this really interesting story that I can't stop thinking about. Damien, you said that once you were by yourself or something, you were being very quiet, and then you saw something on TV that made you like yell really loud. Mm-hmm. And then you heard someone gasp next to you, like you had startled.
Yeah, like right by my ear. I heard this.
And so you were, where were you? And was there anybody home? What are the others?
Yeah, it was just me. I was living with my fiance at the time. But she was at work. I was at home and I was watching the news, and they made an announcement that they were considering pardoning John Lennon's assassin. Right. And so I said, "You've got to be kidding me." And that's when I heard this right next to me. So, like I said, I think I scared a ghost.
Did it sound masculine or feminine, or was it not able to tell?
I wasn't really able to tell. Maybe feminine, you know.
So, anyway, yeah. I like that idea because I've been thinking about doing it. Like next time I'm just by myself, I just want to take out a bullhorn or something, or just yell to scare whatever's there, you know. I think that's a fun experiment to do. I think it's fun because anybody could do it, you know. Just next time you're by yourself, just yell out of nowhere.
I'm sure your neighbors will appreciate it. But yeah, so today's topic, like I said, is about haunted amusement parks. And, you know, with amusement parks that have been around for a long time, you know, they're bound to be people die there, you know, and especially so at Disney. So like, let's go ahead and get started with Disney. So as you enter Disneyland into the park, to your left is a firehouse, and above it is an apartment that Walt Disney kept when they were working on the park. You know, if he couldn't make it home that night, he would just stay there. And so, yeah, anyway, so today, I mean, it's still there, and maids will go in to clean the place, and they will leave a light on right by the window in honor of Walt Disney. Mm-hmm. And then they'll leave and walk out, and it's been reported that they'll look back up and the light is off. So they'll go up again and turn it on, and they'll come back out, and lo and behold, it's off again. Now, I don't know if that's Walt Disney's ghost doing this, playing pranks or whatever. I mean, I think you could honestly chalk that up to electrical problems, you know.
Right.
But I don't know if they can turn it back on again, maybe not. Who knows? But Ralph, what do you have?
Well, excuse me. In Space Mountain, they have a ghost that likes to ride with passengers that are single.
Right.
They call him Mr. One Way because they show him, you can see him in the monitors at the beginning of the trip, but he's never there at the end of the trip. So somewhere in the middle of the trip, the ghost leaves.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it in CCTV.
Right. And they actually have video of it. You can Google it and see it.
Yeah, very strange. One of my favorite rides at Disney is the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a construction worker there back when, and he actually died while working on the ride. And so the employees have said that you have to say good morning, George.
Right.
His name was George. He says, they say you have to say good morning to him and you have to say good night to him at the end of the day. And if they don't, they report that the ride is bound to malfunction either during that day or the next day if they don't do it. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then there used to be a ride there called America Sings. And viewers, I don't know if you know what that is. We're old. So, but what it was kind of like a carousel kind of thing where it was like, it's hard to describe. There was like a center stage that would change scenes as you go around it. You know, it was kind of like a big donut. And anyhow, the employees had to stand at the back, and one of the employees, her name was Debbie Stone. She was crushed to death between the walls that moved. And people said that, you know, when the ride was still open, that they could still hear her screaming and they could see her walking around in Tomorrowland.
She's also been known to whisper, "Be careful if you get into a dangerous situation," I heard.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing about amusement park deaths is that they're, number one, they're always unexpected. You know, nobody expects to die when they go to the amusement park. And the other thing is they're usually very violent. They're not dying in your sleep, basically. They're very violent.
Right.
And those two things, I mean, you know, people, the general folklore says that ghosts are more likely to appear if the death was unexpected and if it was violent.
Yeah.
Which fits.
And I think that that's the case, specifically at Disneyland. The monorail, Disneyland has this tradition, and it's called grad night, and it's where they bring in graduates. And there's Kim. Hi, Kim. How you doing?
All right. Sorry.
We're talking about Disney hauntings.
Okay.
That's no problem. So there was this kid who was 19 years old, and he was at grad night. And his name was Thomas Cleveland. And, you know, teenagers, he jumped over the fence and at the monorail and ended up on the monorail track. And the monorail hit him and dragged him 40 feet. And now people say they see him on the tracks and even running on the tracks and then suddenly disappearing. So that's kind of creepy. But
you were talking about videos we could see. If you Google Tower of Terror ghost, you could see the Disneyland Tower of Terror has a ghost in it too. There was a guy doing construction on it, or not construction, inspection, excuse me. And they have it on closed circuit television where you can see this spotted, it's like just pure white glowing person sitting next to him when the lights flash. It's very plain as can be too, and it's very odd.
Yeah, I've seen that photo, and it's a little hard to chalk it up to like pareidolia or anything.
Right? Yeah,
it looks like a real person, you know.
Wow.
But Ralph, tell them about Dolly's Dip.
Oh, Dolly's dip. But that was back in 1984. Dolly was in the car at the Matterhorn with her child. And she stood up to help her child during this one dip that's now named Dolly Dip, and was hit her head on the ceiling and knocked out of the car to the point where she ended up on the tracks on the other side and got hit by another track or another car. And they actually had to remove the tracks to get her out.
Oh my God.
Because you got
Talk about
shoved in there.
horrifying.
Excuse me?
Right?
Talk about horrifying.
Yeah,
You know.
horrifying. But now, of course, when employees go to walk the track to make sure nothing is dropped out of people's pockets and things like that along the track, they can hear her sometimes.
I can only imagine.
There's also a single light bulb hanging in that area,
That's right.
and they report that it always goes out. But again, I mean, that could be chalked up to electrical problems, I guess. But
Yeah, but odd that it happens right there.
yeah. But what else you got on Disney? Anything?
No, I think that's about it with Disneyland. That's about it. Disneyland's pretty haunted. I'm sure there's other things too. I know there's been a ghost from the Haunted Mansion that walks through the gates that they saw on Close Circuit TV, and stuff like that. But no more actual hauntings that I know of.
Yeah, people say that could be just a double image.
Yeah.
But I don't see how that could happen on CCTV because that's done live, So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's interesting. But Wild, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Not Berry Farms and a haunting there, but I wonder if I could take a slight detour because something I wanted to talk about before I get into that. So, Ralph, you were just talking about photographs and photographing ghosts, and it made me think about photographing the paranormal in general. And I have this idea that I've been hearing a lot of people talk about. And so I'm going to give some examples. I'm trying to find the video we did of this guy. Who was that guy that we interviewed? And he's been abducted by aliens. And he thinks they're reptilian. And
Kenneth Hopkins?
no, it was another guy.
No,
He's been on
the other one.
TV. I'm looking through our list of
Eckhart, David Eckhart.
Eckhart.
Oh,
Okay.
David Eckhart. Okay.
Okay, so David Eckhart has used this method. There's another researcher called M.K. Davis. M.K. Davis has got a great channel. He researches Bigfoot. And so the method is this. If you want to photograph something paranormal, instead of pointing your camera directly at your subject, whether it be aliens, David Eckhart's case, or Bigfoot in M.K. Davis's case, instead of pointing the camera directly at your subject, you point it at a mirror, and the mirror is pointing at your subject. And I've read from these two people and other people that you have a much greater success at photographing the paranormal. And I can kind of see how that would work, because I think we've all experienced that if somebody's watching us, we could just tell. We have a feeling. We're like, we were compelled to look over there because someone's looking at us. But I've never felt that way about a mirror. There's always mirrors around us. I've never been like compelled to look at a mirror. So I think that's a pretty interesting method. If I was ever going to start a study and I wanted to photograph Bigfoot or something, I would do the mirror. So I would put a mirror, and the mirror would be facing what I want to photograph, and then the camera would be facing the mirror. And actually, I wonder if the more mirrors you have, the more success you would have. So let's say you have two mirrors. So your subject is being reflected onto one mirror, and then that mirror is being reflected to another mirror, and then your camera is photographing the second mirror.
Well, we can't get Bigfoot to cooperate with the regular camera. And you want him to get into his reflection into two mirrors?
I wonder why that would be, though, with the reflection.
Well, like I said,
Yeah.
I think it's because it's an indirect gaze. Like I said, I think if like people can feel when someone's staring at you. And I think that's the same thing with the
I
camera.
think I know it. I know what you're talking about, Wild, and it's almost like a different dimension or gateway with a mirror.
Yeah, I mean that's one way you can look at it.
And like a portal, and using multiple mirrors, possibly getting different, going in deeper to a different dimension or pulling up different things. I think it almost might be a little bit scary. You may not know. You may be afraid of what you might pull up.
Right. Right.
Well, people have thought about that mirrors are portals anyway, forever. So I wonder if there is some truth to that.
We've seen pictures that of where people aren't looking into a mirror, but yet their actual, like a double, is looking or doing something totally different. I know we're getting off topic here in a sense, but still.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk because you guys were talking about photographs, but the last thing I'll say is that. Oh, go ahead.
I know what you're talking about. No, I was just going to say I understand what you were talking about. Wow.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is I don't think it would be more complicated than just shoot it. Like, people have a trail camera and they just point it in the direction they want to shoot Bigfoot. The mirror thing, I don't think is that much more complicated. Like, you would basically, like, let's just say you have one mirror. You would have the mirror. Because when you look at a mirror, you could see what's being reflected on it. So you would position the mirror. So let's say you have a feed station right here. You would put your mirror where the feed station is being reflected onto that camera, and then into the mirror. So that's pretty simple. You just set up your mirror in a tree. You make sure that the mirror is reflecting what you want to catch, and then you just set up your camera somewhere else and make sure the camera is facing the mirror. That's really all there is.
Like a trail cam.
Yeah, like a trail cam,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry. I know that's totally off topic, but I did want to talk about that at some point. Okay. So let me talk. Let me talk about. I'm going to read a little bit that I read about Knott Berry Farm. So Knott Berry Farm is in Southern California, and I think it's in Orange County, and I believe it's the oldest theme park in Southern California. It started during the Great Depression, and it actually did start off as a berry. And actually, it's really interesting because this is some history about the place. The original berries they grew, I believe they're boysenberries.
Boysenberry, right.
Yeah, and boysenberries were actually invented by a guy. His last name was Boysen, and he was friends with Mr. Knott. And Walter Knott is the one who started it, him and his wife. And the guy's name who invented the berry was called Rudolph Boysen. It was a combination of these other berries. And then Walter Knott actually went ahead and gave him the berry's name after him. But anyway, let me see. So I'm reading from a website called hauntedhoneymoon.com, just to give some credit. So here's the ghost stories. Okay, it says strange noises and eerie feelings have been described by the employees of the Peanuts Playhouse in Camp Snoopy. So I guess there's a Snoopy themed area.
I don't think the Snoopy themed area is there anymore. I think they've replaced it with something else. But yeah, I do remember that theater. It
says lights have been turning themselves off and on. There's also a Dinosaur Ride, which is, it used to be there. Now it's occupied by Johnny Rockets. It was haunted by a former maintenance employee and a young boy. And let's see. The upstairs of the Virginia's gift shop on the exterior of the park is said to be haunted, as is the Birdcage Theater and Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner Restaurant. Mm-hmm. When it was really early on, I think to get more people, Mrs. Knott, she started selling this fried chicken dinner. And
it's really delicious.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. I miss that place.
It says that a lady was working in a teddy bear store, told a story about the building when it was still the old print shop. Apparently there were stamps, not the kind you mail, but the stamps that you put ink on and then you put on a paper. on a display on the shelves of the wall, and for no apparent reason, some of them started falling off the shelves. So those are some of the hauntings in history I read about that place. Did you guys know? It sounds like you've been there. Do you know any more additional details about this place?
Well, Ralph and I both come from Southern California, and so yeah, we've been there a lot. But yeah, like I said, Mrs. Knott's chicken is just absolutely delicious. And there used to be a place there. I can't remember the name of it, but it was where everything was askew. Do you remember that?
Right.
Haunted Shack or something
the
like
Haunted
that?
Shack.
Yeah, I read about that. Yeah.
And yeah, and like you said, it's haunted. And there have been a lot of reports out of that place, but it's no longer there,
Right.
They've I hate to use the word upgrade because I kind of like some of the places that they used to have, and that was one of the places they used to have. And
well, I read the history of that building in particular. I heard that it was originally at a different site, and it was said to be haunted. It was an actual abandoned mining building, and it was said to be haunted. And then Mr. Knott bought it from that area, and he actually very carefully lifted it up and moved it to his amusement park.
I wonder how true that is, or he was just like pumping up hype for the place.
Yeah, that's could be just a backstory, but yeah, that's a story.
Yeah,
I
and
believe that Knott's Berry Farm is associated with Cedar Point as well.
Yeah, I think it is now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back
because
when
I know
Ralph and I were
Camp
kids,
Snoopy
it wasn't.
used to be there at Cedar Point as well.
Yeah. But yeah, that haunted shack was really weird. It messes with your perception,
Right.
Yeah.
like you're going down, you're walking down on a floor, but actually you're walking up. So as you are going down, it gets harder and harder to go down and that kind of thing, and so it's like I said, the whole thing was based on perception. They would pour out a glass of water and the water would stream this way, so yeah, it was very strange. The thing I remember most about it was very hard to keep your balance in the place.
Right, because everything was askew.
But yeah,
we had a place in Ohio that was like that. It's no longer around, but they had a whole area, and it had the dinosaur theme and everything along with it, where the whole flooring was like at almost like at a 45-degree angle, and it was just weird. The water, the whole thing.
You were talking about Cedar Point. Which one is that?
Cedar Point's in Sandusky, Ohio.
Right.
Okay, because that's how I saw about that too. That place is haunted also.
Yes.
It opened up in 1870.
did it?
Yeah.
It's on a
so
peninsula.
Right. And they have a carousel there that they keep finding an old woman wandering around in Revolutionary War outfit. And they also have a haunted room, a ghost of the woman who hung herself in the shower there. It's room 169. So if you want to go ghost hunting there, you can go see if you can stay in 169.
In one of the hotels?
Yeah, in the hotel.
Okay, which hotel is it? They've got several over there. That way.
Oh, it didn't. I didn't see what hotel it was.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
there was just one. So
No, they've got several. They tore one down. I'm not sure exactly what the name of that one was.
I'd like to go investigate Disney,
oh yeah,
but I'm not willing to pay the price they want to get in anymore. My God, you got to mortgage your house just to get entrance,
Oh, I know. And it's only gotten worse too.
Oh yeah. Yearly.
Yeah. Well, with COVID too.
Yeah. Hey,
'Cause they
speaking
gotta
of
make up
that,
their money somewhere.
I just found out today that Governor Sisolak here in Nevada has lifted the mask mandate.
Right.
And, a lot of people are jumping for joy about this, but I swear I don't have COVID. But I recently saw an article that Australia lifted their mandates and they opened their borders again. And this school saw a surge of COVID go on. And I saw a picture of an assembly at this school, and the kids are shoulder to shoulder sitting in there. And this is the school where they had a surge in COVID. And this kind of worries me because my wife is a teacher and they're going to lift the mask mandates at the school.
Right.
The only place they're keeping them is at like hospitals and I guess on public buses and the school buses. You have to keep a mask on. So, yeah, I think that's because you're so close, and also hospitals because, you know.
Yeah, but if they're right beside each other within the school, why bother with the bus?
But they're not. They're not. Like, for instance, my wife's classroom, she has the desks set up a good 6 feet apart from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids aren't.
They're not sitting on top of each other.
Right. But if they go out for recess, you know that they're not social distancing.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. So
it's kind of hard to keep kids from social distancing anyhow. Because they're going to be kids, period.
Right. Every day my wife comes home and goes, God, these kids, you know.
And, you know, I feel bad for her and I feel bad for them too. You know, my daughter is, she is a teacher's assistant as well. And she's gone through that so many times, especially with the kids, you know. And the parents don't care. They send the kids to school with it, knowingly that they have it at home.
Yep. Yeah. So this has got me a little worried, but, you know, and I know there's a lot of people out there that claim that COVID is a big hoax and all that. I'm not one who believes that, you know. I mean, you can see in the deaths. I mean, this isn't like people say it's no worse than the common cold or a flu. Wild, you can attest for this. It's worse. You know?
Yeah. You know, what I recommend people, you know, I know people are really, some people don't believe in it. There's all this controversy about masks and whatever. I honestly, look, my advice is go to your doctor that you trust and ask them what you should do. Ask them, do you think I should wear a mask? Do you think I should have a vaccine? And the other thing is, if you don't have a doctor you trust, then you should get a doctor you could trust. And there's a lot of organizations that can help you, like nonprofits, find an affordable doctor. Because I know that cost is often a barrier, but there are ways of finding a doctor you trust. And then just ask your doctor and follow your doctor's recommendations.
But while in the same respect, as soon as you walk in the doctor's office, you got to put a mask on, hon.
That's true. I mean, yeah,
right?
You have to.
So there, it's kind of answering the question.
I mean, you're right. It is answering the question. Yes. So.
I mean, when
at a doctor's.
Go ahead.
At a doctor's office, people are immunocompromised anyway. So I think it's just a good idea to wear a mask regardless at a doctor's place or a hospital or something like that.
Sure. See, my point is more that, like, you know, people complain about disinformation, like this person's not being honest, this person's not being honest. That's why I say find a doctor you trust, because then you know they're going to tell you the truth and you know they're a professional, and then follow what they're going to say. I more than likely know what they're going to tell you, but don't take it from me. Take it from your doctor, because I'm not a doctor, you know. Yeah.
When the outbreak first came out, me and my daughter spent 18 hours, and this is no lie. We spent 18 hours a day. I burned up 2 sewing machines. We made over 3,000 masks.
Oh, I remember when you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, we shipped them. We had shipped them 3 to 4 different countries and like 10 or 11 different states. A lot of them went to New York, where a lot of them was needed.
That's great.
So let's get back to topic. Kim, what do you have on this?
Kings Island. Kings Island, I thought was really, that's here in Ohio, about 24 miles northeast of Cincinnati. I found that interesting because it has a cemetery right inside of the park.
Really?
Yeah. I've
That's
never
odd.
heard. Yeah. I mean, that's why it really stood out to me. And, you know, and it's haunted by a little girl that wears a blue dress and a little boy that wears a white suit. But to have a cemetery within the grounds of the
Why would they do that?
I have no idea. It makes no sense. It was
How
built
old is
in
the place?
1972. The park
Oh.
was.
Okay.
But I mean,
Yeah, and the
as
property
far
they
as
built it on, if I remember correctly, had a manufacturing building that it had an explosion and 100 people were killed.
Mm.
Not good.
See, I didn't get that information, but I thought it was just so odd that a amusement park would have a known cemetery within the grounds of it. You would
Right.
think that would be not part of it at all.
Well, right. I mean, people go to amusement parks to have fun. I mean, talk about
Right.
being Debbie Downer. Oh my God.
Right. Exactly.
It seems like a lot of amusement parks are haunted, and that makes sense because people die in them. I mean, there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
and-
Oh, Kim, you cut out. We can't hear you.
Maybe hit the mute button on accident.
Still can't hear you.
She's haunted.
She's haunted. Yeah.
Looks like she could hear us.
Now you're muted.
and now
Okay.
she's gone.
All right.
So log back in. Damien, I want to mention something real fast also. You talked about how you want to investigate Disney because it's haunted, but it's so expensive. I really think if you want to investigate a haunted place and you don't want to spend a lot of money, just go to the Uinta Basin in Utah, the site of Skinwalker Ranch. Now, you don't have to go to Skinwalker Ranch. The whole
Right.
town is haunted. You can just stay at a local hotel, walk around at night. You'll probably see a dog-headed person or a dinosaur or a UFO or something.
Something.
I'm planning on doing it at some point. You know what I want to do? Actually, I don't want to give away too much, but I'm going to write a proposal to conduct a survey of insects at night. So what I'm going to do is then we get some bicycles, and I'm going to do what's called. There's a technique for catching insects called night lighting. So basically, me and my buddy, we're going to get bicycles, and on the bicycle we're going to string up a white sheet at night. With a portable battery, we're going to hang up a light. So when that light is on in the white sheet, it attracts all the insects. And then we're going to collect the insects as long as you're on a public road. You know, you don't need a permit to collect insects. And then I'm going to categorize the insects and find out what's in that area, write a paper. But really, what I'm doing is that's just an excuse to be out in the night, in the middle of the roads, in the Uinta Basin to see if a dog-headed person talks to me.
You know a better way to
There we
catch
go.
insects?
What's that? Yeah.
I hate bugs. Especially the flying ones.
Oh no! Oh no, Davey! No.
But yeah,
Can
you
you
were
guys
talking
hear
about
me now?
how.
Yes.
Yeah. You were talking
I
about
was not
the
muted. I don't
expensive.
know what happened.
You're talking about the expense of Disneyland, and they're running a commercial out here in Las Vegas. It's a special that they have going on. It's $110 per person per night, but you have to do it on a 3-day basis. You have to stay there for 3 days.
Wow.
So I'm thinking,
There's a
you know,
catch.
for Ralph and Terry and I to go there, you know, that's $330 just for that. That doesn't include accommodations, food, and all that. So by at the end of the day, you're looking at, well, for 3 days accommodation, you're looking at probably $2,000-$3,000. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. I remember when I was a kid, Disneyland was relatively cheap. You
Right.
know, I mean, I think it costs $10 for a kid's admission. You know,
Wow.
I think for adults it was probably
Well, I
15
remember in high
or
school it
20.
was $99. They had the special $99 for a year pass,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's a good deal.
not only was it a deal, you could pay whatever it was to get in at that time, and then pay the balance off every month.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
it ended
and
up
then-
costing like $14 a month to go to Disneyland anytime you wanted.
Yeah, I had one of those passes back in 2012, and it was like $600, and that was for the upgraded pass where you didn't have any
Right.
blackout days. Now, well, for instance, I think they got rid of them, but they brought them back, and I think they're charging upwards to $1,000 for this thing, $2,000. So yeah, I think my days of visiting Disney are over, most definitely.
Ghosts or no ghosts?
I wonder if you could
Ralph?
get in just by asking if we could go in as a team investigating.
Yeah, I kind of doubt they'd allow that. I really do. Because they would have to provide an employee to go with you to make sure you're not just like out having fun, you know, and
Yeah,
they
God
probably wouldn't
forbid.
do that. Yeah.
But it's also I don't think they'd want that just because it's bringing attention to their mortal accidents they've had.
To their dark side.
Yeah,
dark
well,
side, yeah.
maybe. That could be.
Especially to the
Ralph?
part they've gotten shut down.
The what now?
That island or whatever that they have shut down.
Tom Sawyer's Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer's Island. That's shut down
Yeah.
now? I didn't know that. Huh.
That was it, that Pirates Island or whatever?
That's Tom
Shut
Sawyer's
down.
Island, I think it's called. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't even know that was shut down. But Ralph, what do you have on Six Flags?
Six Flags Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. We were talking about this before the show, actually. There was a fire in their haunted castle, and it ended up killing 8 teenagers. And what was bad about it is the firemen couldn't tell the real bones from the prop bones.
Right.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty bad. But supposedly now that people see teenagers in 80s clothing walking around the park and then disappearing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that was a pretty bad accident. It was allegedly it was because that building was not up to code. The
Right.
building was not a permanent building. I think it was made of like trailers, so it didn't have a foundation. So for that case, it wasn't regulated as closely as the other permanent buildings were. And also, they had a lot of suggestions by a fire expert about putting in sprinklers. They didn't have any sprinklers. They had some. They had some smoke detectors, but those smoke detectors were vandalized allegedly, so they weren't working either. So it was in bad shape. I think even when it happened that night, they didn't realize that people had died. It wasn't until much like a day or two later when they realized there are bodies here. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awful.
Yeah.
What else you got, Ralph?
That's it, really. Oh, Busch Gardens in Tampa, Florida. I have the Crown Colony restaurant. They have a lot of activity going on there at that restaurant. You can see in the window reflections of a man playing a piano. There's feelings of being watched, cold spots, sense of cigar smoke, flickering lights, and visions of a child named Wendy. So they're having all kinds of trouble up there at that restaurant.
They got some business.
How do they know her name is Wendy, or is that what
I don't
they
know.
just gave her
I
that
wondered
name?
that too. And it didn't explain it in the article I read.
Strange.
I don't know if that's just a nickname they gave her or if there's a reason behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there are a lot of amusement parks out there that have hauntings, and,
Yeah, there was a ton of them when I looked them up.
yeah. And like Wild was saying, generally they're connected with very violent death, very sudden death, and I think anywhere where you're going to have rides and stuff like that, that's going to occur.
I say if you're going to an amusement park, look it up and check out and see what's haunted about it. Then you can check it out when you go, because it seems like just about every amusement park has a haunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may not be told about, but that could be something if you're interested in that could be something that, you could look into further.
Let's see. It's kind of this is off topic, but it's kind of weird. I would never build an amusement park, especially a big one, because it's like if you're building an amusement park, you got to know that at some point it's going to lead to someone's death. It's like if I build this park and it lasts for a long time, more than likely somebody will die here on accident. So it's like,
but that's not just an amusement park, honey. People are going to die at any given point, even at a house or anything.
But I mean, I think you're more likely to die at an amusement park. I mean, I get what you're saying. People die everywhere, but like if you're building a nail salon, I think it's less likely that you're going to have a tragic death at your nail salon than an amusement park.
Can you imagine the kind of insurance that these places have to carry? My God.
And that's probably why the ticket prices are so
Yeah.
high too.
It could be. One of the reasons anyway. But guys, I think this is going to be a relatively short show today. I don't think we're going to go to the full hour, but viewers, thanks a lot for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like button and smash the bell. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And definitely share this around. Share our videos. We would really appreciate it. Share it to your socials, share it to your friends, and so on and so forth. So anyway,
And
until
if
next
they've got any, and they should share with us if they have any haunted museums or haunted amusement parks, let us know.
Yeah, put it in the comments below. We'd really like to know that. So anyway, until next time, keep thinking and question everything.